Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Friday. Today, our special guest is Shawn Thomas, head of advanced logic nodes and power business at Atomera. Hi, Shawn. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Hey, Maurizio. Nice meeting with you again. I look forward to a discussion.
Yeah, thank you. So, thanks a lot for your time. Where are you based on? Where are you located?
Well, right now I'm sitting here in St. Louis, Missouri, in the U.S. A little remote from our headquarters in Los Gatos, California, but getting ready for the holidays.
Good. So let's start with the first question. So tell us more about you. So about your career. So reflecting on your diverse career, what important moments have shaped your journey in the semiconductor industry? So tell us more about you and your background.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah. In terms of what are the pivotal moments in my career, I've my journey through the industry started at Motorola as a young engineer, and I've through the years gone from IDMs or device manufacturers through equipment manufacturers, material suppliers, kind of the whole supply chain in the semi industry. But some of the more pivotal moments in my career, influential moments in my career, kind of started early in my career when I was at Motorola. In those days, I was a young process integration engineer.
Hmm.
And in that role for me, starting out was really great. It helped me visualize how individual process steps fit together in the manufacturing of a transistor. So it helped me to understand how this complicated semiconductor process works. Additionally, I was able to then, kind of dig into the details of each of the process steps that go into making the full-blown transistors, and
Hmm.
what influences each, what inputs of each of the process steps influences and impacts the final device. So that's kind of laid the foundation for me, and then kind of a few years later, I was given the opportunity to join Motorola's corporate research labs,
Hmm.
which was a really wonderful learning experience for me. I had some really great mentors there. Among them was the kind of the VP in charge of that corporate lab,
Yes.
as well as one of my direct managers. And what was great about it is that environment really, they encouraged me and fostered a really an environment of creativity, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of there that I was able in that corporate lab setting where I was able to work on a broad range of topics, in the industry. So, normally, we think about semiconductors and working on the transistors and silicon-based transistors. But in that corporate lab, I was able to look at kind of more far-reaching technologies, got to play around with carbon nanotubes, was able to work on organic or flexible electronics, was able to work on displays. So kind of a little more non-traditional from a kind of a device process integration person background. And really, it was a lot of fun because I was able to learn new areas. So it involved a lot of reading, a lot of collaboration, right? Because I didn't have those background to begin with. So it's kind of meeting other people in the organization who had some expertise that could teach me. And really, that's where that environment sparked the joy that I have
Mhm.
for being in the semiconductor industry.
Good. So you have over 25 years experience in the semiconductor industry. You
Yeah.
have contributed to developments in epitaxy with MST technology. So we talked last time
Yeah.
on Power Up podcast. So for our audience on powerelectronicsnews.com, you can listen the podcast with show about MST. So with experience across logic, memory, RF, power electronics, what excites you most about Atomera? Its potential impact across multiple applications.
Yeah, I think you kind of just hit it. You said it in that last phrase. It really has the potential to impact multiple areas. So one of the key, benefits that Atomera's technology brings is that it has its ability to control diffusion
Mhm.
and doping profiles, right? So, why is that important? So as devices continue to scale across all applications, obviously the most aggressive scaling being in logic, but all applications are trying to shrink and shrink the size of your chips.
Mm.
So, as you continue to scale across the application spaces, MST really is bringing kind of a new tool into the engineering toolbox of methods for tailoring transistor design and operation. So, so like in the case of logic
Mm.
transistors or advanced high performance logic transistors, where you're now kind of pushing, 2 nanometer technology node, companies are already looking at, 1.4, that nanometer nodes. There really, is not that much space now you're talking about between a source and a drain of a transistor. And so any kind of dopants that kind of diffuse or kind of into the channel from the source drain really can be a problem because it can drastically change the how the device operates.
Mm.
And so really MST, I'm excited about the fact that MST can help bring an additional level of control to the manufacturing process as well by being able to, make sure your dopants stay where they are and don't adversely impact transistors.
So looking back on your work,
Yeah,
is there a project or a breakthrough that stands out as a defining moment in your career?
right. Yes, yes. So there are a few, but I can pick on one, a relatively recent one. It was when I was working at MEMC slash Global Wafers. So there was a product or yeah, a project that we took on to develop a new product,
Hmm.
and that product was excuse me, a 300 millimeter charge trap RFSOI substrate. So the substrate itself was important to minimize RF losses in the substrate. And the reason kind of why this was a defining moment in my career or kind of a really a breakthrough opportunity was it happened in a time where there was a lot of I'll call it turbulence going on within the company, right? So, in about 2016, Global Wafers acquired MEMC, the company which I was a part of. And, during that time, there was, as with any acquisition, there's a lot of uncertainty that goes around. And, people are wondering which projects and products will remain and which ones kind of get stopped, which ones get accelerated, et cetera. And so at the time, our 300 millimeter SOI product and strategy had primarily been focused on fully depleted SOI. And so at that time, the adoption of fully depleted SOI was not high. There were a few key players that were making bets on fully depleted SOI and moving forward, but it's not huge widespread industry adoption. So there was we then, our new executive leadership team comes in and questions, well, okay, what's the business case? So, why are we doing this? Right. So, which is all great questions. It forced us to kind of reevaluate to make sure that we really believed and were committed to this as a product. So, kind of in looking at that, we gave me an opportunity to sit back and reflect and take a look at the market and what was driving the SOI market. At the time, I was able to kind of make a pitch to our CEO to shift our product strategy from fully depleted SOI to RF SOI, this charge trap SOI. So, at that time, we saw some huge growth happening at 200 millimeter.
Hmm.
And, looking at the market trends, it looked to be that there was a a transition to 300 millimeter that we could see happening in the near future. So after kind of putting together the justification of marketing, what's our return on investment, if we pursue this, our CEO graciously agreed that, hey, let's try it. Give you the chance to shift that strategy and go after this market. And that's really where I guess the real fun or the real work began, right? So, we were able to, the first challenge was, okay, we got a customer who's going to be an early adopter, and we were able to partner with that customer to help us in the development of our evaluation of our substrates. And then really after that, getting the customer in place, the technical job, of developing the process and the product. And, this one was a little interesting, the challenges, because we did not have all the capability in our mother fab location to make the product. We didn't have all the tool sets. So it required us working functionally across our other sister organizations across the world to help us with components of the process. And so it was kind of putting this jigsaw puzzle piece together and putting together the process flow and the subsequent integration that helped us create this product. And at the end, we were able to, with the hard work of our team, we were able to create a product that was acceptable. It was did well with our customer. And as a result, we were able to get new customers. And then from there, we were getting new customers, we were able to actually create opportunities for the company to obtain investment to expand and expand our manufacturing. So really kind of taking that off from a kind of low level, just an R&D project, to being able to see it fruition into a business and a product was really exciting for me.
Nice, nice one. So, Sho, beyond your job, so
Yeah,
we would like to know more about you. Which hobbies, which activities you do usually in your free time? So I hope that you
sure.
have free time beyond your job. So also to recharge your battery.
Yes. Yeah, free time is always a hard thing to come by these days, but I think it is important to make some time. A few hobbies I do have, but kind of one of the I guess more long-term hobbies that I've had, excuse me, one that I've been doing for maybe almost 30 years is scuba diving.
Hmm.
So it's I find so scuba diving, you're underwater.
Yeah,
So I find that kind of when I go diving, I'm sitting there 60, 70 feet underwater. It's
nice.
very peaceful, very calm, right? It's a hobby that really forces me to disconnect and from the environment, the busyness that we have, all of us have around us, and really focus on your current environment.
Hmm.
So there's no cell phones and nobody pinging you on an email, right? It's nobody can get a hold of me underwater. So
White noise. White noise.
that's right. It's exactly what it is. It's that white noise level that just kind of lets you kind of be calm and kind of let your mind wander and be free to think about new things, right? So
Nice.
for good or bad, maybe I should be ashamed to admit it, but there are a few maybe patent ideas I've had underwater. So when you allow when you allow your mind to rest, things come up, right? And so I really find that it really helps me balance.
Nice. So, sure, if you could back in time, so I have another question to share with you, in time to the early days of your career. So, what would you do differently? So, if there is, so, or what suggestion, what advice would you give to younger self?
Sure. I think, in terms of advice, you know, I think two key things, that I would say. The first thing is kind of be patient, and stay curious.
Yeah, totally agree.
So, yeah, I think on the patient side, it allows me, but the patient side of it is more. something that I've realized in my later years of my career when I've been able to reflect on
Mhm.
the early days. As what I noticed, many kind of young engineers, myself included, we all have that, drive. We want to come in and work on the
Yes.
best projects and the highest visibility projects and show that we can succeed and we deserve to move to the next level.
Mhm.
Whether that's on the technical side or become a manager, regardless. One, and that, nothing wrong with that drive. I think everybody should have that drive. But one of the pieces of advice that I received early in my career was, it's really easy to build breadth of experience, but more valuable to build depth of experience. So, in this rush to kind of get to the next level, we keep trying to move from project to project really quickly. But if you can, kind of take your time, slow down a little bit, and kind of develop yourself and your expertise, demonstrate yourself as an expert in an area first, kind of go deep in an area, and then build breadth afterwards. You'll find that, once you become recognized as an expert in an area, people kind of seek out your inputs, and that does get recognized. It does take time, but it does get recognized. And if your goal is to is to become a manager, VP, whatever, those opportunities will then present themselves because people will recognize your expertise. So that's part of the patient side of it, right? On the curiosity side of it,
Yep.
staying curious, that kind of applies to me not only to the technical side of things, obviously, trying to continue to build your knowledge and your experience and understanding the latest and greatest technology, but also how you deal with your colleagues, right?
Mm, mm,
So, the majority of the projects that we work on these days are not by yourself. You're working as part of a team, right? And, as such, you'll be working with people who, all have different opinions. Each one thinking that their opinion is the right one, the best one, the right one, right? And, the key there is, not to just kind of be dismissive of somebody's opinion, saying that yours is the right one, but stay curious means keep an open mind. You ask the why question. Why is their perspective this way? Why are they saying this? Is there something that I'm missing that maybe they saw?
mm,
And once you kind of go through those questions to kind of understand the thought processes that other people have, you may find that you either change your opinion or you have a new thought, and that's how you kind of, I think, you grow. It prevents you from coming across as dismissive, and you end up actually making so you end up having positive influences on your colleagues as someone who you can bounce ideas back and forth without being judged. So that curiosity, I think, is quite important in our industry these days.
I totally agree with these topics. So, I'm sharing a topic on Power Electronic News about sustainability. So,
Yeah.
sustainability is a growing focus in industry, in semiconductor, but not only from professional point of view, also from personal point of view. What about sustainability for you?
Yeah, so my view on sustainability has kind of evolved over the years, right? For most of my career, I've been part of fabs or equipment manufacturers, right? And all these companies, they have sustainability programs of some form, with a focus on things like, okay, how do I consume less power, or how am I more efficient in my use of chemicals, or how do I recycle my wafers, kind of preserving that, right? All these are definitely important and they do contribute to overall sustainability. But however, I guess in my current role with Atomera, I've been able to take a little different view, right, of sustainability. The equipment manufacturers, fabs, that's what they're doing now, manufacturing their within their building, right? but now kind of with Atomera looking at kind of influencing different and enabling different technology platforms, I kind of starting to take more of a look at what can we do sustainably at a system level, right? So it's, how does our technology, let's say we want to reduce power consumption. Where does that apply and how does that apply? We've talked in the past about data centers as being a huge source of power consumption, but not just at the rack level, right? You can say that my servers consume a lot of power, and I can maybe create a technology that can reduce that. But there's additive areas to that influence these power consumption of servers. You need huge buildings, which require power themselves. You need cooling systems, which again, more power draws. So
Mm,
it's really how are we impacting not just what we touch, but one or two steps beyond, right? And trying to see the overall impact of sustainability.
yeah. So, sure. In conclusion, my last question for you at this
Yeah,
Wind Down Friday. So,
yeah.
what's next from you? What's next from show? So, any travel, business travel, vacation, any program with your family?
Sure. Well, in the new year, I expect there to be plenty of business travel, but I think really the next thing that I'm looking forward to is actually a scuba diving trip, where I'll be kind of taking a few, some days off to relax and unwind and kind of get ready for the new year. I'll be floating there, below the surface of the water and kind of coming up with new ideas.
Nice. So, show. Thanks a lot. We have touched different topics. So, this nice Wind Down Friday. Thank you for coming on and join us at Wind Down Friday. So, I wish you a great weekend and see you next. Talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurizio. Appreciate having me on. Have a good one.
Thank you.